Welcome everyone. My name is Tiffany Mayers and I will lead you through the course on Finance Foundation Data Model, or FDM for short. We also have Arena Owens who will be assisting with some of the demos today.
Hello.
You may know from your transcript in Buckeye Learn that this class is a prerequisite for other courses such as manual journal entries. This course will provide you with an in-depth look at financial work tags, how they work together to construct financial transactions, and how they are viewed and used in reporting. Upon completion of this course, you will know the work tags that are required for transactions, the differences between balancing and carry forward work tags, the relationship between revenue and spend categories and ledger accounts, how to request new values if you need them, the data integrity built into Workday through the configuration of related work tags, allowed values, and custom validations, work tag hierarchies, and how to use drill-through functionality in financial reports to see work tag details. So FDM truly is a multi-dimensional structure comprised of work tags that will replace what we know as the chart of accounts. Work tags are just objects or segments that we tie to transactions to get the reporting that we need. FDM stands for the Foundation Data Model and also provides a construct for HR and students, as well as finance. Today, as we are drilling into taking a look at financial transactions, you may hear me refer to the Foundation Data Model often as FDM. Now you see the Financial Work Tag Reference Guide. It shows the work tag name, the work tag ID, and the definition. I'm just going to scroll through here so you can kind of see all the different work tags, because there's many work tags that are available to use on transactions. Each work tag has a very unique definition to define the values that should be in this work tag. And then each work tag value has an ID associated to it. And most work tags have a 2-letter prefix that represents the work tag, and then it will have numeric numbers and sometimes alpha characters along with it. So for activities and events, it will always start with an AE, and then it would have a set of IDs after that. And then the definition for activities and events, it's used to track and report revenue and expenses for localized activities that are short-lived. They can recur, multiple times a year or once a year. But this is just a good example of the work tag, what the IDs look like, and then each definition. This is just a brief definition, but you will have access to the full set of definitions along with examples for how each work tag should be used. So if you're in the tenant, there's a couple things that you can do. I can just go and look for FDM values. So all of our reports have the word FDM values in it if you wanted to be able to pull a list. So you can see here it shows all the reports that have FDM values in the name. So for today's purposes, I'm going to really focus on 2 of these reports. We're going to go into cost centers FDM values, because this one we could see used frequently. And all these reports are going to be very similar from a prompt perspective, from a column perspective, is you get in some of the work tags that have a lot more attributes to them, such as projects or gifts. You might see a lot more information than you're going to see here in the cost center report. So here you're going to see a reference ID, and then you're going to see the work tag ID. In many cases, these should be the same. As you get through further trainings, you're going to learn about EIBs, and typically in EIBs, you're going to populate the reference ID. So that's why you're seeing both of these here on the report, even though they're identical. Then you're going to see the work tag name. there's going to be an inactive column. So if you were to see yes in this column, that means the value is inactive and cannot be used on transactions. Then you're going to see a flattened hierarchy view. So if you wanted to know the hierarchy that the value rolls up into, and we're going to talk about what a hierarchy is later in this course, that's laid out in the report, as well as any of the related work tags, which we'll also talk about what a related work tag specifically is. So one thing that would be useful, this report is rather large, so I'm not going to filter. You absolutely can filter each column in here, but for demo purposes, I have exported this into Excel. So if I am engineering, I could go, and CCH6 represents the VP Dean level, so I have this filtered by engineering. And I can see all of the cost centers that make up my unit. So that's what you see here. So if you wanted an easy way just to see cost centers within your unit, you would definitely want to use the filter options on hierarchies. So now let's go ahead and take a look at another report. And this time I know the specific report I'm looking for, so I'm just going to type it in here. And you can see spend categories, FDM values is my first option, and that's the report I want. So on the prompt, and the prompts are very similar across all of these reports, like I said, but you can exclude inactive values. So if you didn't want to pull the inactives into the report, you can definitely exclude those. And then these other ones are really, you know, the date something that was created or the last date there was an update made to the value. So I'm just going to run this wide open. And again, this just lists all the spend categories that exist in the tenant. This report's slightly different from the last one we looked at. It has a lot more attributes on it. So again, it has, you know, whether it's active, inactive, you can see the hierarchies. There's also this column that's called included in spend category hierarchies. This means there are multiple hierarchies for spend categories. So if I'm in university, I might want to look at only the spend categories that I can use as someone in the university. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this report. And you can see here, it actually ended up taking me to the hierarchy, but if I was to type in here university, spend category FDM values, this has now just brought back only the spend categories I can use on university transactions, because we do have multiple companies using the same FDM structure. There are values that are restricted to specific companies. So this would be very useful if you're trying to find spend categories that you should be using on university transactions.